Hey folks, Rob Daniels here from the movie, TV, and video game soundtrack show Visions in Sound. I do the show 12 to 2 a.m. every Saturday morning on 98.5, yes, I'm getting to that, too, 98.5 CKWR. And that can also be found on my website. Yeah, I'm getting to that too, Gimli. Boy, you're getting ahead of things here. Visionsandsound.ca. So yeah, this is my journey to 25 years of Visions in Sound. This is a project that I picked up and did a little while ago. I started way back in, has it been way back in May, late May, when I first did the film Titus. So this, yeah, I see. I'm getting to this. You're always pushing the envelope here, Gimli. Wait a minute. So this week I'm featuring the score to the 1999 film The Insider, with music by Lisa Gerrard and Pieter Bourke. Yeah, this one kind of hit me out of the blue. I was not planning on doing this originally, but after a little bit of reorganizing the list that I had, I decided to approach this one. So this one is, if you're not familiar with the film is essentially about Jeffrey Wigand and the CBS show 60 Minutes, essentially taking on Big Tobacco. And for me, back in 1999 with my friend Scott, we ended up seeing that film, I think no less than 5 times in the theater. But of course, that was when films were decently priced. You could go on a Tuesday, but we would go and we would see it. It was a pretty good film. Now, it's been a number of years since I've seen it. So for me, watching it again recently, I went, wow, this is a Michael Mann film. This Michael Mann film, and for those that aren't familiar with Michael Mann, if you're familiar with Miami Vice, Heat, there's a lot of other stuff that he's done, but this one was a surprise to me. And the reason why it was such a surprise to me is how much, now watching it a number of years later, how important music is to a Michael Mann film. There are huge sections of the film where there is little to no dialogue, and the music does dominate. I was surprised at that, very surprised at that. And of course, this also comes from the era of the Wailing Woman score. So a lot of scores would feature this wailing woman in a lot of their tracks. Lisa Gerrard in particular. Now, I had the great opportunity to speak to Lisa Gerrard back in 2000. Yeah, I did. I spoke to her about a number of things, not the least of which being her work on Gladiator with Hans Zimmer, but also I talked to her about her work on Mission Impossible 2, but we also got talking about The Insider. And go on the website. The interview is there, so check it out. It's pretty cool. It was a 15-hour difference between us. I think it was about a 15-hour difference between us. 15, 14 hours, something like that. The day was just kind of coming to a close here in Canada, and she was just waking up to breakfast. In fact, I talked to her probably while she was making breakfast that morning. Anyway, it was a great interview. I had a great time talking to her. So in any case, like I said, we talked about a whole bunch of things, and we talked about her music and her what she termed as wordless vocal, which is essentially what the Wailing Woman, at least in some cases, was about. There were other scores of the era that featured the Wailing Woman, but in this case, Lisa Gerrard comes at it with what she calls a wordless vocal, and you hear that in Insider, you hear that in Mission Impossible 2, and you also hear it in Gladiator. So there's all of that. The music here is really good. It has this great yes, I know, Gimli. I know you like this. The music here has a great quality to it. There are so many really good tracks on this, and they fit, when you watch them in context with the film, they fit really, really, really wonderfully. I was surprised as to how well they fit. Like I said, when I was watching the film a number of years ago, I wasn't taking it from the aspect of the score. I was taking it more from the aspect of the filmmaking, the story, and that sort of thing. Now watching it as the score fits in, it worked really, really well. So yeah. Also, I mentioned in the last video, the Red Planet interview, that this would not be the last time that Graham Revell would show up. Well, he shows up again in this film as well. He wrote some additional music for this film, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, LB in Montana, I'm Alone on this. There's some really good stuff on here from Graham Revell, and it fits extremely well with the Lisa Gerrard, Pieter Bourke scoring. This is a great score. It's a little bit different. I have mentioned on several occasions to listen to unusual scores. This is one, Gimli. This is one that is definitely an unusual score, but it works really well within the Michael Mann film. So yeah, if you haven't heard it, I highly recommend it. I highly recommend the film. The film was really, really good. I watched it a couple of nights ago, and yeah, I can see why the next year Russell Crowe got the Academy Award for Gladiator, though I think he should have won it for this film, The Insider. So yeah, check it out. Definitely worth checking out. It's Insider by Lisa Gerrard, Pieter Bourke. It's on the Columbia Sony Music Soundtracks label. So yeah, check it out. Definitely worth it. So if you're interested in any of the film, television, or video game music that I play on my show, you can find it on my show every Saturday morning, Visions in Sound, 12 to 2 a.m. Saturday morning on 98.5 CKWR. I can also be found on my website, visionsandsound.ca. I'm on the Twitter, or X, whatever you want to call it, at Visions Sound. You can also find me on Good Pods, a downloadable app for your phone or other type devices. And I can also be found on any of the other podcatchers out there, including the likes of Apple Music. So like I said, get out there, listen to unusual scores, listen to ones that are not necessarily on the regular roster, the John Williams, the James Horners. Listen to something that's a little bit more unusual, or listen to something that's not necessarily from those composers. So with that in mind, yes, Gimli, getting up in the world, I see. With that in mind, have yourself a great week, and I will see you next week with an interesting score. Again, yes, I know. The last couple of weeks I've been doing a sci-fi kick, so I'm getting a little bit away from that. So next week I think you'll like the score. So like I said, have yourself a great week. I'm Rob Daniels. Like I said, get out there and listen to great scores, unusual scores. Have yourself a great week. We'll talk to you soon. Yeah, Gimli, we'll talk to them soon.